Hello, everybody. 7:20 on a Wednesday recap show. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing fine. First, of course, can you see me? Can you hear me? Hello, Curtis, Starlene. What do you mean you guys could still see the screen? I didn't even go live and people are talking to me. And I want to make sure Judy's been having some phone problems. And hello, Caroline. And we have Judy on the phone from Canada. Hello, Judy.
Hello, John. Hi, everybody. Good to be here as always. I hope you can understand me okay.
Can you hear Judy okay? Her sound's a little muffled on my end, but I want to make sure you guys can hear her when she says the synopsis. I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about Judy. Can hear Judy, Jeff says. Yes, Judy too, Starlene. Beautiful. Becky, Ashley.
Good.
All right, Curtis says your screen was up a little after 7. Judy is okay. A little muffled, but can understand. Okay, we're good to go. We're good to go, Judy.
Oh, good. We're good. That makes me feel better.
Yep, Judy's going to get some internet and some cable services up there in Canada shortly. And she's at her daughter's house. I want to thank Sherry for helping her out to get through the show tonight. You know, guys, we got to go do the show, right, Judy?
Right on, no matter what, John.
You got it.
Gotta have that synopsis, I know.
Oh, it sounded like you pulled away from the phone or something.
No, I didn't.
Alrighty. Judy sounds okay. That's all I got to know. As long as you guys can hear her, we're good. Good evening, Kathy. Of course, I got to start out my podcast live like usual, thanking my YouTube membership on the paid side, the Knights, the Captains, the Marshals, the Senechels. I want to thank Luke and Jeff and Curtis and Jana and Kelly and Becky and Josh and Annette and Mark and Barbara, Michelle, Sandollar, Renee, Roxy, Mike, Jazz, Dia, Wayne, and Starlene for all their support, and thank all the Knights for their support. Also, I want to thank Judy because she's live. Thank you so much, Judy.
You're very welcome, and I'm glad to be here.
And
as always,
for the professor, Daniel Spino, who enlightens us with his in-depth research throughout the week, and especially Sunday mornings.
Makes Sunday coffee really good, guys.
Yep. Hello, Stu, James, Bill. Hello, Professor. He's in the YouTube site that I can see him. Please do that link above my head. Hit that StreamYards button so I can see you all in one column. So I can give you some FaceTime for the world, not only to see my fotch, but to see you guys too. Because you guys are part of my membership and you guys are part of the group. We work this all out together. Just me and you guys back and forth. That's what I love. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yeah, me too, John. We got a great group here and we all make it okay, don't we?
Yep. And it's like all 70,000 of you are with me in this chat. It's all back and forth. It's questions, statements. Of course, you're not all in here, but if any of you want to come on with me live at any time, just let me know on a Wednesday or a Tuesday pre-show, and I can send you this link, and you can be on with me as long as you have a mic or talking to your laptop or a webcam. You can be here with me, just chit-chatting, just saying hello, and then logging off. That's no problem in my book because you're my best members and we do it all. Okay, Renee Tuttle still has that option for you guys to say or do anything or make anything that inspired you from Oak Island these past 9 years. Send it. We'll post it up. I got to thank my moderators, Tammy, Judy, Renee, Michelle, Daniel, Starlene, and Kathy, and our Quest Lifetime contributor, Chris Dona. When you see the number on the bottom of the screen, that's when to call in. Judy will get off. You can call in, text us that you want to come on. I only can handle one phone call at a time. It's 1-323-813-4135. I want to thank all my Quest of Oak Island members, my YouTube members, my Twitch members, and our Twitter members. We are on live the past 2 nights on Twitter. I want to thank my Twitter followers for joining us, and also the Hanker host that throws our podcast, Judy, audio-wise, to Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora. But now Spotify is showing videos of podcasts, so we are on video on Spotify, Judy.
Oh, John, that's great. I just think it's wonderful that people like to listen to us as well as watch us.
Hello, Linda. And the professor says, where are you there? This Sunday, the sacking of Luxembourg in 1782 will be the subject line. So it gives you sort of a heads up of what's coming up Sunday morning. It's just fantastic. So what'd you guys think of last night's show before we get into it a little bit?
I thought it was a little bit slow, but I think we got enough information to at least believe there could be a tunnel and a shaft at the Money Pit area.
Yep. Hello, Scott. Yeah, especially my big concern, Judy, and members, was the air coming out of that pipe. I don't want to say anything because I got a background in civil engineering. And with all the holes they did, this never happened. I know on C1 the water was coming up because they put the vacuum pump in there. I remember seeing like water coming out of the canister top, if you guys remember that.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gas. I thought it was, they hit natural gas. They hit something between the shale because it was watered and you heard hissing. And of course, natural gas, you can't smell it. The NIMO people up here and all around the world put the rotten egg smell in natural gas so you can smell it. Otherwise, natural gas in its natural state, you cannot smell it. I hope everybody knew that.
You know what, John? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, it's good to know.
They pumped that rotten egg smell into the system. Of course, they got detectors, Judy, if they come to your house for a leak, but you would never smell it.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Brian, when you're drilling holes, you never know if you get in a pocket of a natural gas, maybe even oil, whatever, if you're not deep enough, but you don't know how it's trapped in between the layers of rock and sediment, sets up the gas emissions. So you don't know. I was going to say that, but I said, nah, let him tell him water. But he was concerned. I mean, these guys drilled for natural gas and oil, Rick and Greg.
So, right. Yeah.
So that was my interesting part of the show. It got me a little hyped up more. I mean, they're still finding things, surface finds with Gary. And that was the big thing for me is that, it's probably a shaft. And I know they put in one 10-foot caisson real close to that women's memorial. So they're right about there, Judy, where that drill is. That's where they put this 10-foot can right there.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to that for sure. Daniel says the 12 by 12 chamber looks interesting, and I agree.
Yep, at the end. Yep. And to come out, it wasn't new technology, but it was from the seismic testing that guy researched and incorporated into the 3D mode. Even when they I got screenshots of all this. Even when they had it, they never showed us a 3D picture, Judy. I don't remember a 3D picture.
No, I don't either, John. This is all new to me.
Yeah. I remember all the layers and showing the anomalies, like the swamp anomaly and all the layers and in sections of anomalies. This looks like a shaft. This looks like an anomaly, but nothing like this here, like 3D, that you're actually walking in a tunnel, you're walking underneath. That's what threw me off, because seismic testing didn't do that at the swamp. You know what I mean? They just showed us the top of the swamp and the anomaly. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. I'm wondering if maybe this is something new that they have found that they can use the seismic for.
Who knows? Hello, Dead Pirate on the YouTube side. And the robot says the Laginas are getting closer with each episode. Yep. Yep. And there's Dean. He's staying up first, Judy. Hi, John and folks.
Hi, Dean.
Yep, Caroline. We always support Oak Island Research and Dot to Dot all the time. They're the best. And Doug W. could be this. Maybe the chamber was sealed with blue clay, but they didn't tell us what was at the end of the drill. You know what I mean, guys? When they pulled it out.
Right. Yep. Next week.
Next week, they showed somebody putting their hand in the threaded part where the drill goes down, and maybe that's a little indicator. As far as I know, no camera down the hole. I wish they would put a sewer cam down the hole just to see. But what do I know, Judy?
It would be great to see that. Bill says Aaron Helton warned of drilling into the top of the chamber. And I do remember her doing that.
Yep, maybe they can run some new data. It could be part of the gas that killed the rest stalls, Caroline says. Too bad they couldn't trap some of this stuff for testing. But we don't know what it is. You don't want to stay near it. You know what I mean, Judy?
Right, for sure. Yeah, no sense in taking any chances.
Yep, so they got the spot. It might be the spot. So I was getting hyped up on that. Yep, that's what he said, Professor. I liked it when Rick said if it's a tunnel, he'd be the first one down there. I hope with gas mask and everything else for safety. Nowadays in 2022, they have to make sure everything's cleaned out like the World War II episodes. They always had to test it for poisonous gas before they entered. Or if it had it, they had to do exhaust fans and such. Judy, they're very safety cautious first.
Right, and I'm sure they would be, although I know Rick would certainly be the first one in there. I have no doubt.
Yep. But that surprised me that stuff came from seismic testing. I was just shocked. I says, oh my lordy, this is not new technology, but it's new technology how they process the software from seismic testing to make it look 3D. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, it has to be.
Yep. And they got a good pile of data overload. So whoever has new technology that can take all this data that they've been collecting and impose it on new technology to see things better, I'm all for it, guys?
Right, for sure. Yeah, the more that they can learn, the better.
Yep, Daniel Gregg was like, it might be gassed up back, a little spark, and it blows up like a blowtorch. Because you can't smell it. I thought, you know what I mean? And I know a lot of people didn't know that, but they do add some kind of chemicals to the gas, so it does smell like rotten eggs. Otherwise, if you can't smell it, bye-bye. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's scary.
I like that view, Scott, in 3D. I really do, because like I told you yesterday, when Steve has all his points with his GPS, he can also create a 3D map of the whole island. I don't know if we're going to be privy to see that, but that's his point of reference. Obviously, he's going to do that, not like the old ways like me with pencil and protractors and stuff like that. All right, Judy, let me bring up your picture just in case your phone goes off or whatever happens. Judy up here. Alrighty, Judy, you're online. You're in the picture. When you're ready, I thank you so much, Judy.
You're welcome. And guys, do try and remember that last night they did jump back and forth a lot. So I will be jumping from one scene to another fairly quickly. So season 9, episode 10, Chambers of Secrets. It's morning on Oak Island, and in the war room, the team is meeting with Jeremy Church, a geophysicist who helped to do the seismic testing in the Money Pit area. He is updating them on some new information they have found. The testing results show a tunnel running from shaft C1 to shaft 12, which is 55 feet from C1, and was dug by Frederick Blair, a one-time searcher. The tunnel seems to be 100 feet down, and at 160 feet down, Jeremy sees what looks like a square structure, 12 feet square by 12 feet tall. Marty wonders if this could be an offset chamber, and is it connected to the tunnel? Rick says, let's drill a 6-inch hole near shaft 12 and see what we find. It's worth drilling, Marty agrees. In the swamp, Gary, David, and Billy are digging. Gary picks up a 4 to 5 foot long piece of wood about 1 inch around. It was close to where the piece of ship's railing was found. It will be tested. In the Money Pit area, the team is drilling a 6-inch hole, AB13, which is as close to shaft 12 as they could get. They hope to find signs of the tunnel Jeremy said is there. That afternoon on Lot 32, Gary and Marty are metal detecting, and the beeper goes off, and Marty digs up an old ox shoe, not far from where the lead bag seal was found. Marty wants to find out if there was a wharf on Lot 32 and was cargo moved around in this area. Back at the Money Pit area, the drilling is going on in AB13. Craig says to go down 160 feet, and at that moment, the drill falls down fast and water starts to blow out of it. Is it air blowing the water out, or is it natural gas? Alex wonders if something just collapsed underneath the ground. This all happens at 68 feet down. Before drilling further, they must check to see if this is gas. Back on Lot 32, Gary's beeper goes off, and Marty digs up a very large spike. He asks Gary if it could be a railway spike, and Gary says it is too large, so could be a spike used on a wharf. They wonder what it's doing out here on Lot 32 and decide to put it through the XRF machine and then take it to Carmen. The next day, back at hole AB13, they are drilling again as no gas was found. Suddenly, the drill stops moving and bubbles are shooting up through the pipe. The team thinks something is blocking the drill, but what? Terry points out that there is definitely a cavity here and wonders if they have hit a dead end, or is it a flood tunnel? Steve suggests they move about 3 feet away, and Rex says no, how about 2.5 feet? Get as close as you can. That afternoon, Jack, Alex, and Marty arrive at Carmen's shop with the large spike found on Lot 32 yesterday. Carmen says it is an anchor spike off of a wharf used for unloading cargo, along with the bag seal found last year. Will this spike from 1710 to 1740 help them determine who hid the treasure on Oak Island? Time will hopefully tell us. At the southern edge of the swamp, Gary picks up a piece of wooden ship's decking. It's more proof that the ship is buried in the swamp. It will be tested. 3 days later, in the war room, the team meets to discuss the piece of decking found the day before. Rick is on video as he is at home doing paperwork. Craig reads the results of the C14 carbon test, and it dates from around 1516 to 1574, which, as Marty points out, is long before the finding of the money pit. Rick believes they may be zeroing in on the Oak Island mystery. Could that finally be happening? Stay tuned next week, fellow Acorns, and stay safe, please.
Very professionally done, Judy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much, John.
We made it through. We made it through.
We got it.
We got it. We got it, Judy. All right, hold on. I'm going to click off a little bit for a second, and then we'll get up some screenshots of the show, Judy.
Okay, sounds good.
Alrighty, guys. Everybody's telling you fantastic. I don't know if you can see it come through.
I can, guys. I just thank you so much. You're so good to me.
Yep. When you get everything caught up, you can see it. And hello, Bear, on the YouTube side. All right, let me get Judy's picture off here. And there's my faccia. La faccia. Danny Spino's still eating lasagna, so I got to make sure he relaxes. He's got another 4 weeks of lasagna, then he'll be all perky after that. Alrighty, guys. We're going to go through these screenshots and see if you can remember what's going on. Daniel, call me Garfield. Alrighty. Now, this piece, as you notice, was the ship's railing dated from 600 to 900 AD, which some things hit a time period, but like they say, other places are not. So sometimes they fit in one spot, and then others they don't around the end of 1500s, 1600s, in the beginning. You know, Judy, you got these 900 ADs. How the heck does that fit in, you know?
I know. I keep wondering that too, John. How could it have gotten there at that time?
Yeah. Then there's that sort of rope spike that a member said that they can tie the sails to. Or it could be on top of the ship's wheel, you know, the big ship's wheel with all the knobs around the end, how the big ship they used to steer it on the deck. That could be that also. So everybody helps looking out for these things. And this is the planking they've been taking out of the swamp, the flat planking. And don't forget, when I looked at the planking, guys, I noticed the sand on the planking. So don't forget, before the road, there was a beach. But before the beach, guys, if this was a harbor, there wouldn't be a beach right behind the road. And don't forget, you got to put this factor in. The water was 6 foot below. So they're showing us a beach. They got a new road on there. And they're saying it's a harbor. So if it's a harbor, the beach wouldn't be so close to the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, gotcha.
But it could be. We just don't know the time frame that it took to make that beach, and that's why wood in that sand that I showed you guys, if they can date the wood under the sand, will give us an idea what that beach was, or the swamp was just a big collection point for all kinds of garbage, and we'll be getting dates all over the place, you know?
Right. Yeah, I hope they give us a date on that.
Yup, Bear. Everybody thinks there was two islands at one time, no doubt. And of course, this is the small pathway, which I call Wharf, like I discussed yesterday. There's no way oxen can drag anything on here or walk on here. As we discussed, again, here's a long, what was that plank? 16-foot plank that Tony Sampson took out of the swamp way back when.
Yes, John, it was, I think.
Yeah. I had my paperwork with all the dates on it from before, but I had so many dates on it, I got too dizzy, so I don't got the date for this, guys. And here's the anomaly, which seismic testing showed us that's in the swamp. Yep, Bear. That's what I say.
Daniel said a minute ago that he's quite sure there is a ship there.
Yep.
Hope you're right, Daniel.
Yep. Yep. One island part is high where the money pit is, and the other part is low. And Daniel says Fred was pulling out ship parts of the swamp 50 years ago. Yep. And then here they showed us this anomaly on the end there. It could be the vault. He says the dimensions were about 12 by 12. And this perked my ears up. Yep, Bear, money pit is a decoy. Go look there, but it's in an off chamber someplace. A vault, empty, partially, or nothing there is our quest. You know, Judy?
Right, you got it. Yeah, this box thing is really interesting to me. Can't wait till they can get down there.
Yep. And this is, if you remember, guys, I showed you this on a live show 2, maybe 3 months ago, that now you don't see the straight shafts anymore. They're zigzagged, going up, away from the water with an offset chamber, which I agree, with a little room attached, Professor. Absolutely correctamundo. Or if it's in below water that they knew it was going to be in water, it is packed with blue clay to have a water seal on the objects or things that they buried. And here's that line, say they're going from shaft 12 to this anomaly at the end that's like 12 by 12. I mean, they'll have the GPS coordinates, they have the direction, they have everything. So that's all they have to do, Judy, is just have Steve put the GPS, put the pointer on, spray paint, and drill here.
Oh, I can't wait. Hope they do it soon.
Mm-hmm. And there's the line before those boxes going straight from 12 into that anomaly. You just got to find out what it is, guys. Easy. Is it there? Is it not there?
I'll be anxious to find out what Michael and Oliver think.
Yeah, I got to get them on the horn. I wonder if they would use a Mother Always robot first. If it's a tunnel, yeah. I hope so. If we're thinking it, they already thought of it. No, don't forget, their season's done, so they know everything that went on. We're just surmising from the information, the little information that we get. But I like this new technology. That's what I call it. And here's inside the tunnel. Actually, they actually has walking underneath the tunnel, Judy, on this technology.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh, unbelievable, unbelievable.
I have to admit, if someone didn't explain it to me, though, I wouldn't understand it by just looking at it.
Yep, good to know. Cool technology. Yep, Kathy. And like I said yesterday, what's new technology today? In 6 months, it's obsolete, Judy. Just like when your phone goes off or something. Well, you got to buy a new phone because you got new technology.
You got it. That's about right, too. That's why I'm going to cable.
Yep.
I'm hoping it'll help.
Yep. And here's shaft 12 that they showed. The shaft they never finished. They just stopped. That's shaft 12 in the older days. Notice to the left top, you have a fence post, picket fence all the way around the bottom of those two telephone poles. So you guys see telephone poles like me, right?
Yes, I see them.
There's a takeaway shot. And here's Bear. I live close to the island, or only a half-hour drive. I own the mineral rights around the coastline of the island and some on the mainline, some surrounding islands. Very good, Bear. We have spoken. We have spoken. You got the railroad tracks for the dumping of the material. I think when we went on Oldie Goldie Day, I showed all these old photographs that are good to remind us of how it was back then. You know, Judy?
Right, yes. It is interesting to see the difference.
And now it looks like a parking lot. You know what I mean?
Right. It's hard to even imagine phone poles there.
Yeah. And then Steve asked, I love Steve. He's a surveyor like me. You want to get points of interest. And there's where C1 was. So there's shaft 12 and C1. So it gives you an idea what's happening.
Yeah, they're not far apart.
Nope. I didn't get the distance, but who knows? C1 we know.
Right. I don't know if they said 55 feet. I'm not sure. They did say.
C1 to shaft 12, which is 55 feet from C1. Yep, 55 feet. You're right, Judy.
Oh, how about that? I remembered.
Very good. More tunnel pictures that just said, oh my lordy 40. Let's find it now. Or like Judy says, let's get after it. And this was when they were putting it all together. That says you want to go deeper. I'm going, well, okay, let's take a look. Just like Marty said, let's go. But it's just unbelievable. I'm surprised at this technology. And see how close they are to the woman's memorial. That's exactly where they put the 10-foot caisson. Right there. Right where that drill is. That's where the caisson's going.
Okay.
The one that I know of, I hope they put 10 in, but I think they only put one in because if you use a 10-foot wide caisson, it's more material, more work, slower, even though you got a 10-foot grabber If that's more important, you have to go slow. So probably from 40 feet on, they probably dug a little bit with the grabber, sent the camera down, and keep on looking because you don't want to have this camera, this claw grabber, grabbing any kind of treasure or artifact and just squeezing it up to nothing. You know what I mean, Judy?
Well, wouldn't that be awful if that happened? Yeah, they'll have to take their time.
Yep. And this way, if they do get a little piece of something, then they'll just open it right up like an open minefield. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, right, gotcha.
Because they're not going to drive the cannon's case on right through the treasure or an empty vault or whatever. The first indication of anything, boom, the caisson comes out, boom, you block off the area, and then you make a nice 30 or 40-foot round hole around it, going very slowly in layers.
Okay.
And I guess that's when the archaeologists take over because they got to document everything.
Exactly. We'll be glad we got them then to make sure everything goes just right.
Yep, Bill, bring back the trowels and the sweeper so we'll get season 15 by the time we get down 30 feet. Yeah, I heard that last night they want to sink 4, but I'm sticking my neck out and saying they only sank one 10-foot caisson. Time constraints of how we saw them leave so quickly. If I wish they put 10 in, so I don't think they had time. I think they ran out.
No, I think you're right, John.
I had all the dates. They started in late September, and by October, first week, they were gone. There's no way. You know what I mean?
Right. I agree.
Bigger equipment takes longer time. Smaller equipment, smaller time. As I learned in construction. Sure, you get a lot more volume, but a lot more work.
Right, yes. And who knows what they may have found in that one big caisson? Who knows?
Right. Right. Why did they run out? The hook. I had all the pictures down. I forgot when I posted it. And I don't think there was enough time left. By the time we saw the first caisson go in, and by the time they left, I just said it was too short of a time to do 4 caissons, to dig out. If you're going 160 feet deep, 10 foot around, dig all that out, and at the target they go slower, a target depth goes slower. I just think it was just not enough time. That's my own personal opinion. I hope they did all 4 and all 10. But Johnny's sticking his neck out. Nope, not the weather. We'll see, Kathy. We'll see. Yep, Daniel, even Aaron. Don't drill in certain areas. But can you imagine all the holes they drill now with damage or whatever they've made through a vault if they did hit it? Even before when they hit the vault and they said they came up with some gold pieces in the V piece. You already know years ago that they went through the vault if it was the vault, Judy?
Right, exactly. And I keep wondering as the years go by how much damage is now done to that vault.
And then Starlene says on the caissons, bingo. Maybe they hit the bingo. Who knows? They'll give us the hook, guys. They'll give us the hook. But we know we put one in. We know we're going to be seeing one in because we saw it. So we just have to wait, be patient, and hang in there. And this is what they always showed us, Judy, with the seismic testing, the anomalies and the circles and the shafts and the latrine. They never showed us the way they showed us last night, Judy.
No, completely different, John. It must be something new.
Yep, something new. What they used old technology, inputted into new technology to give us the real life look of what's happening. I just love it.
Yeah, I do too.
And then Bill says, if it wasn't full of water before, it is now. Correcto mundo.
Yeah, Bill. Yep.
But I still say there's off chambers, and yet to bury something 185 feet deep or 165 feet deep, if it's in bedrock, it does not need any support. If it's in bedrock, encased with the blue clay, it can be water on it for 1,000 years. It would protect it.
Okay, good.
See what I'm saying, guys? But if you got
Yes.
if you got 5 drills that went through it, that's another story.
Right.
So we'll see. These are all questions that we need answers to. And if you imagine us asking these questions and we don't have a nickel invested in this operation, just imagine how these guys feel. So,
Right. You're right.
and there's the guy from Seismic Testing showing the anomaly. And this is them blasting around the caissons at the money pit area, like they did the swamp, with all these points of interest, all these points of reflection to get data. And here's what they want to do: sink a 10-foot round caisson, the biggest they ever done, which makes sense. You know what I mean, Judy?
Oh, it does. It's going to be interesting, really, to watch them do it.
10 foot wide is pretty long. I mean, pretty wide in a diameter.
It sure is hard to imagine.
And here's Jeremy Church, who gave us all the data. They always find these guys from all over, but I've seen him before on the show when they were doing all the little explosions in the swamp and in the money pit. But you don't recognize these guys when they don't have their hard hat on, their vests on, outside. All of a sudden, they're at a desk, and I just don't recognize it, you know?
Right, I agree. 'Cause I couldn't place him at first. When he started talking, then I kind of knew the voice.
And there's Marty and Gary doing some surface finds. I think this was lot 32 where they found that big spike. And here, this area is still off limits. I wish they would just have a Mi'kmaq representative there. They have to have a Mi'kmaq archaeologist someplace in the world and set him up when they find things like that. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm hoping they brought some of them in.
Yep. Hello, Maureen, Linda, David. How are you? And here's what they went back. Well, at the swamp, they found the big eye-ring bolt, the barrel heads, bottoms or tops. They dated it, but I don't know if they said they were looking for material on it, if it was filled with something, but we hadn't heard nothing on that, guys. Right, Judy?
Yeah, right, and that's disappointing. I really wanted to know what was in those things.
Yep, they gave us the dates, but no material that's lingering in them woods and in the pieces of wood. Chemical testing. And Bear says Deborah Robinson is the Mi'kmaq chief for North. Thank you, Bear. Pieces of ox shoes. We're finding a lot of ox shoes, guys. But that could be just from the farming side. I don't think they did that much farming except for the cabbage, supposedly.
That was the first one they found on lot 32, though, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, Bear, that would be great to get on the podcast. Hook me up with Deborah Robertson, Bear. This is the one on 32, Judy. This is the... Hello, Gloria. This is the ox shoe on lot 32 near the bag seal. He said within 50 feet. So they don't know if there was a harbor coming in on that end on 32 or a wharf. I still believe they're wharfs, Judy. I have no idea. They're not roads. Maybe that pathway that went 650 feet. But
Well, John, it would sure make sense.
It all points to me as wharfs. Way back when. And there's a rosehead spike. There's lot 32 where they were in. And here's the graph, guys. What's the squares? I got to put you guys in there. How big are the squares, guys?
Come on, guys. You answer this time.
They're going for AB 13. 5 feet, the hook, Kathy says. You got it. 5 by 5 by 5.
You got her.
And we know AB 13 is headed towards where? The Women's Memorial. So you got the
okay.
So you got the direction where we're going now, right?
Yes, I do. I'm sure the others do.
Yep, Scott, must have been a lot of oxman movement because I would not think the shoes would fall off that often. And how come we can't find no oxen bones? Nothing died on Oak Island. No chickens, no nothing. If there's all these oxen, those are big boned animals, you know, Judy. So if you found a big bone or something like that, not saying, but you know what I mean, it has to be an oxen.
Yeah, and really they have not found any animal bones that I can remember.
My drill program bingo card is filling up, says Bill. yeah. There's not going to be very much spots to not drill holes. So, like that other shot I gave you was a full grid. If you took a screenshot of it, you can also keep track. Every show, it shows you where another drill is. And you can fill up your own drill pattern, you know, Judy?
Right, exactly.
I mean, they just show us sections here and whatever they took off, who knows? So you can keep track on your own if you're that dedicated. Some people do. And here's this long piece of wood with that sharp edge like a spear that Gary found.
And it certainly is a formed piece of wood, but what it is, I have no clue.
Yeah, Bill says bones would disappear from mice and critters. Yeah, decayed the bone out. Yeah. In some places. Other places we find bones. So who knows, Bill? It's crazy, you know. And obviously that was hacked with a saw, with an axe. You see the groove there. The axe hit it there, then the axe hit it there. And Bear says there's a large debris field underwater towards Smith's Cove. Shows a Google's map large volumes of soil and sand. Yeah, Bear, I had a not a lidar map, but Gordon Fader had a map to show all the stuff in the bay and the layers of soil there. But that was maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago. Yeah, we'll have to check. Daniel says, I think oxen broke shoes often. We'll check with Carmen on that. How long does it all depends what they're walking on, right? If they're walking on sand or they're walking like Carmen says, there were winter shoes. Well, what are these oxen doing in the winter? Now, if there's all ice on top of these cobblestone wharfs, then I can see them sort of using the oxen on the pathways, on the stone cobblestone, if there was like 6 inches of solid ice on top to walk on top, you know, Judy?
Right, yes. And Rick and the guys have been there sometimes in the winter and walked right over top of the swamp.
Right, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If they had to do a project, say how they made Nolan's Cross. It's only called Nolan's Cross because it's on Nolan's property. So somebody did this cross. And to move them stones, they would do it in the wintertime when the ground is hard the ground is full of ice and they can pull them along, not through muck and mud and trees and bushes in the summer and spring, but in the wintertime it would be a lot easier to do any kind of moving in the old days to slide them along. Do you agree with me?
Right, I do. That would certainly be the easiest way.
And Linda says, perhaps they haven't found the so-called graveyard yet. Yeah, and there's nothing. Everybody gets put out to sea or goes on the mainland. Very weird, very weird. So, of course, they got to get this spear stick, whatever you want to call it, dated. And here's the bubbles coming outside the drill hole. That's the top with the bubbles. And they sort of piqued my interest, Judy.
Yeah, it did me too. I couldn't imagine that at first, and it's interesting. I wondered what it was going to do. I was hoping it wasn't going to blow.
And they found that big spike. I guess they put this big spike and spike it in a rock so they can attach boats to it or put a pulley system on to drag things along, these big rock spikes. Yep, Gloria, loggers move their logs in the winter with oxen. What'd you say?
Yeah, Scott wants to know, do they backfill the small holes or just leave them open or capped? Do you know the answer to that?
The caissons that they dug?
No, the 6-inch holes.
Some they leave open. Most of them they backfill. They left some open. That's the one Dr. Spooner ones, the ones that were open from like Dan Blankenship, and some they kept open. That's how he got his tests for his Spooner silver.
Okay.
Not including C1, 10X, but the 6-inch holes. You'll see around the island that you'll see caps on some of them. That was from Dan Blankenship, and I'm pretty sure these guys in a very good area that they didn't want it, they left it open for them to test it. So that's how Dr. Spooner, what did he say, 12 or 15 spots he tested.
Okay, right, yes, there was.
But I don't know how they pounded these spikes in a rock. Imagine trying to do that. Okay, whatever.
Daniel said he read that Daniel McGinnis was buried on Oak Island.
Could be. I have no idea. And here's all the water shooting up out of the pipe. The first one ever that they did. And here's Carmen looking at that spike from 1710 to 1740. There's the spike, a rock stake. And there's my main man, Carmen. I had to give him FaceTime. There you are, Carmen.
Oh, good. I'm always glad when they go to Carmen's shop.
Daniel, I got to get back to Joan McGinnis. She hasn't gotten back into me. She was supposed to be on the show. And I think she said she don't know where Daniel McGinnis is buried. But I got to look back on that. My mind plays tricks on me. So you could be right. And I think that's what she said. I'm going to have to look back on that information. Some people contact me that they're going to be on. Then all of a sudden they disappear. And I don't bother them to come on the show. They know where I am. And if they call me back, fine. If not, I just don't bother people, Judy.
Right. And that's the best way to do it.
Yep.
Daniel said Carmen kind of looks like my dad.
Good guy. He comes on all the time. If If I call them up now, can you come on for 10 minutes? Yeah, sure, John. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, great guy.
Yup, Linda.
Bill said he looks like Bill said he looks like his old shop teacher.
Yep, well, Linda, yes, I know they put the sisters' ashes in the McGinnis Foundation. We saw that on the show. And here's where maybe the pipe went into a open chamber that was sealed. That's how they got the back gush. They're just showing us that. Here's everything that they found in the swamp, the tool thing, and all kinds of stuff's coming out of there. Yup, Bear, they all have non-disclosure agreements. That's why you don't see anybody on right now until the show plays out throughout the whole year, season 9, and they can talk about it once it's shown on TV. So right now, everybody's pretty quiet. In fact, they were quiet for a while, even before the show started. So I don't know if they have a tighter NDA now, but that's the way it goes. Hello, Matt. Thanks for coming in. Here's that plank that Judy was saying, and it dated 1516 to 1574. But if the wood came off a 100-old tree, you got to add 100 years to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's the tough part. You don't know that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's dated 1500. All right. Well, the wood wouldn't be 0 because it would be a seed. You know what I'm talking about?
Right? Yes, gotcha.
So you got to do by the wood's age, but they must put that all in factors. You know what I mean?
They must, I'm sure.
So we got to go by that date. And there they are in the war room, talking to Rick. Rick was home doing paperwork, but it seems awful weird, and that sort of struck me a little weird, Judy.
Yeah, it did me too. I thought, whoa, must be important paperwork.
Yep. And that was it. That was sort of the end of the show. So there was some stuff there. The new technology they showed us, the date of the plank. Next week, season 9, episode 11. It's called A Boatload of Clues. So we'll still be in the swamp. And then I got a little preview the week after that, January 25th, Judy. It's called The Silver Liner.
That sounds interesting. Daniel says that the 1500 numbers keep popping up consistently. I was just thinking that, Daniel.
Yep, Caroline, I thought Rick might be sick. That's what I thought, but who knows? And then Bear says some people don't let them do interviews. Yeah, I've been doing this for 6 years. I've had a lot of people on the show, Bear. I did ask David Blankenship to come on, but he's not the best with microphones and webcams and doing all that on his own on his kitchen table. You know what I mean, guys?
I understand completely, yes.
And it would have to be for mature audiences only, because they'll probably be swearing at me every 5 minutes. Also, guys, since they've been into the swamp, so I guess we'll stay around the swamp until they give us more information on the money pit. Seismic Testing, number 1, did 2,000 points on the swamp. Right, guys? Also,
say that again, John, please.
Seismic Testing did over 2,000 points of little explosions on the swamp area.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
yeah.
if they did that at the money pit and did that 3D, it makes only sense to me is that they can do the same thing for under the swamp. You know, Judy?
Yes. So do it where the the ship Anomaly is.
Right. But it still bothers me about this big ship Anomaly, because they did a drilling system in the swamp with the floating drill. If I was a big investor and I owned this island and I thought there was a ship in the swamp, that's why I would have them have a floating drill rig in the swamp at certain points where this anomaly was, over the whole swamp, and dig, test, drill holes with soil samples. You guys got me?
Yes. They did do that, John, didn't they? But did they go down deep enough?
They knew the anomaly was 50 feet below. They knew where the anomaly was. If they hit something hard and couldn't go through, they have 5 acres of a swamp to determine where holes can be done.
True.
All right, here's the floating rig that I told you guys would find. There it is, out there from Fred Nolan's Peninsula, there, that little shot of land that goes into between the goes out into the swamp. Well, Scott, they never got the permission to use them new pylons in the swamp area. There was probably no permission given for the swamp area to put any cofferdam in. That's what those piles of pylons were in the background of the money pit. But Bill, an old sunken wood, they would have samples coming up, like in the sausage table, where they pull up all the samples and check the wood on the table. Terry Matheson's always checking. I would do the same in the swamp that they did.
Yeah, it's hard to understand, John, why they haven't done that.
And Marty said, I have the video on my Quest Facebook group that I posted today. When he was in the SUV and when he came out, he said they are drilling to see about this anomaly. They drilled on the anomaly. What samples we got, I have no idea. I haven't heard a word on this. You follow me, guys?
Gotcha. I've heard nothing either.
Could be, Kathy. It could be a deformation of soil, like at the latrine. It was just a big layer of sand below soil that gave it an anomaly illusion. You know what I mean, Judy?
Right. Yeah, that Bill just said that. It's just a hard pack of something that has the unfortunate shape of looking like a ship.
And Bear says it was built in the same way to really protect something special. No one does this for something small. Right, but I'm just challenging this big ship theory, and they drilled there, and we haven't heard a word in years. And Mark Lee, if I built a box drain, I make it log frame, fill it full of rocks with coconut fiber to filter, then make it useful as a dock. Could be. Saturn 3, thanks for coming in. I haven't seen you. Yes, I also want to see what they took out of that pipe. What came up on top of that pipe next week. And Bear says it looks either like a Viking vessel or a Spanish ship. I don't know. Like I said, if they did the drill program like they said on top of this anomaly in the swamp and haven't said anything in 2-3 years, maybe they're just not telling us, or maybe they actually didn't find anything there. You know what I'm saying, guys?
Right. It's hard to say. Of course, they're still bringing up what looks like pieces of a ship, so that's what makes this us wonder about it.
Right, because it was it was an inlet. There was no road there. It just would collect junk. We just collect junk until they put the road in. Then the only thing they would get in
Right.
the swamp now is if a big northeaster came on and wiped the road out and bring more stuff in the swamp and it just collect there. But I'm just saying,
Okay.
if I'm a big investor, millions and millions of dollars, and I have this drill set up, and that guy says to me, "Hey, Johnny, yeah, we can't drill through this. We'll get a bigger drill." Well, Johnny, I can't drill through here. Move the rig and plot all these spots because I'm an investor and I want to know what's in the swamp since this whole floating rig is in the swamp to find out. Otherwise, I'm not going to invest anymore in the swamp if your drillings don't show me wood, parts of a ship, all that, maybe a layer of ash all of a sudden because the ship was burnt. Or if the whole thing's just decayed to nothing, if Dr. Spooner can find things out in that kind of water samples, he can find out a lot of things from debris. Do you guys agree with me?
I do. Yes, very much so.
I mean, we can't take everybody's theory. We'll have season 65. But I mean, it's good for business, it's good for TV. I understand that. They also have to have fill ins, Judy. We understand that. It can't be piped up every day.
Right, exactly.
But I'm just doing science here. We got a drill rig on top of an anomaly that we have a GPS coordinates tool. We know it's 50 feet deep. So you drill right through it. You go to 75 feet, all on top of it, on the side of it. Not unless they couldn't get a permit to go through that. I know they had a bad permit with the coffer dam because they were thinking they might cut the boat in half, Judy.
Right, yes.
You know what I mean? If they drilled these pylons down all the way around, they were afraid whatever's there, they would cut it somehow or cut it off or something when they drilled it through the water and through the muck. But
right, that makes sense.
But we should have information from this drill program that I'm showing you now to verify if something's there or not.
Yes, you would think so.
And go west, young man, like my buddy Dot to Dot and all of us says. Because they've been looking in the swamp for 1,000,000 years. They've been looking in the money pit for another 1,000,000 years. Yet we can't get them to look on the west side or bear like I used to tell I still tell them. Number one, they're not digging deep enough. If the thing's in bedrock, it doesn't have to be shored up. It can be full of blue clay and it can be sealed. Or what do I tell them, Judy? They're digging in the wrong spot.
Right. And why have they never dug at the eye of the swamp or the Mercy Point?
No idea. So that's why I brought these drill float things up. Well, if you can't drill with this drill, you buy another drill, get a bigger drill. I want to go through this. Not unless they were hitting like steel or something. Well, then you move 10 foot this way, 10 foot that way, and mark everything down with GPS, Judy.
Yes, exactly.
But they had permits because they're in the swamp with the floating rig. They had the permits for this, for information.
Right, they did. Well, hopefully we'll get the answer to that someday, John, as to why they didn't dig more there.
And here's a notebook from Fred Nolan I thought you guys would like. Could be, Ron, digging in the wrong spot. Could mean they're digging on the wrong island. They're about to purchase another island. I don't know where around there. And another lot on Oak Island. They told us that by History Channel, and I posted it when the season started. Here's the items that Fred Nolan took out of the swamp. Some scutters, whatever the heck you want to call them, Judy.
Yeah, I don't know, John. Oh, there. Wow.
Yes, Saturn, the permits do determine you go shallow first, you present evidence to do shallow, and if you have evidence to do deeper, like Laird says, you need another permit to go deeper.
Okay.
The professor, why do you think Rick and Marty made this search public and not more secretive like other past owners? They are very public, they're very non-public people. Very much so. It was Kevin Burns that somehow wanted to show this story to us that convinced Rick and Marty to do this. If Kevin Burns and his know-how did not convince these guys to do it, they would be just doing it on the private side, Professor. That's my own personal opinion. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I remember Marty saying that they really didn't want to go public, but Kevin must have given them a good offer, so they went.
Yep. Going this long, now I think maybe it'll get to the point that they had enough, and we go from there. We just ride with the punches, see if what goes on, and we're in with them to the end. Then this big stone pathway, 170 feet by 80 feet. This had to be the off-loading platform on the big side going towards dry land. But don't forget, they knew about these pathways in 1795, and also the water was 6 foot lower. So this would be dry land right here, and maybe in the front they dug it out as a harbor. So people forget about this huge paved area on the top. You know what I mean, Judy?
Yes, because they haven't talked about it at all this year.
No, Saturn. Rick doesn't seem to willing to stop. No, he'll never stop. I'm saying to be on TV, to be a public figure. He would still do this privately until the whole story is told or done. He will never stop. He's like me.
You're right, John. He won't.
And
Neither were you.
And here's a 1945 picture of the swamp, how it used to look in 1945. You see the eye there.
Wow.
Very narrow. There's a road to the right where they had all telephone poles going through it. And to the right, all the way, that's where the money pit area is. Probably Saturn. They need the money to help them out. You know, plus the province gives them millions. But they need all that because they're spending more than they're getting. So this was the swamp in 1945.
Boy, that was before I was born.
Yep, Ron. A lot different. A lot different. I don't know how many times they drained it. They must have drained it, what?
Oh, wow, I've lost count.
8 times maybe. I know Fred Nolan did it. And I don't know who did it before him. Because they were mostly concentrated on the money pit. They didn't even worry about the swamp. Rustall went there looking for some kind of box or something. But besides that,
yes, right.
nothing. And here's the side of the swamp where you'll see the telephone poles in this road area here. You'll see one with a shadow and another telephone pole. Now, this is the southeast bottom corner of the swamp that I'm showing you guys. I still got
gotcha.
I still got to learn about that overlay, but learning StreamYard new, I'm sort of burnt out. I like to learn, like Dot to Dot does all the overlays from old photos to new photos and going back and forth. But my brain is too burnt to do that right now. So that's the old swamp. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think what Carolyn just said, you can really see the eye
Yeah.
so plainly. Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, look at it.
No, that's where the spring is coming from. Even now, if you got a picture of the swamp, the spring will be coming through. That's where the water comes from. Obviously,
Okay.
you got the road there now. You got it blocked. And how's water getting in the swamp if it doesn't rain? You know what I mean? Underground springs, guys.
Okay.
MJ, I personally believe the brothers have a rough idea of what they're chasing. I believe they found archive evidence in the beginning, many years before they started the search. I think so. If you're going to spend millions of dollars in buying an island, that there was a lifelong dream, you better have something solid.
Right.
And Daniel, I've recently reviewed old documents from lots on Oak Island that mention a road. That's got to be the road. And Ron says there are power poles. There was an easement, that flat road under the poles put in. You can see the white layer of rocks they used to reinforce the side of the easement. Yep, but nobody left no mess, Judy.
No, none at all.
Like me, I lose a screwdriver every half hour. Nobody ate nothing. Everybody picked up their cups and forks and knives and screwdrivers and swept the island clean. Whoever was there. In their decade that was there, they cleaned up. The next decade, they cleaned up. The next century, they cleaned up. Awful weird. Awful weird.
It is weird. It really is.
TT, the water that came up, it was from a cavity that was probably sealed, or just a cavity that wasn't exposed to any air. Whatever air was trapped in that cavity, it's like you piercing a air balloon, and the hole you made in the balloon, the air came out of the balloon with water, the pressure. That's how it was coming out of the drill hole. And then Hart, how are you? Hi. Why aren't they digging into the ship Anomaly in the swamp? Number one could be permits. Number two, I showed already that they did a drill program with the floating drill all over the swamp. So I have no answer for you. Did they check for salt? I have no idea. But they should be checking for everything. Like, why didn't they check for silver or gold or anything like that after all the sausage casings they were taking out of all these 2,000 more drill holes on the money pit? They're just looking for gold, pieces of gold, or something tangible to see. They didn't check the minerals in the dirt. They didn't check anything in the dirt. You know what I mean, guys?
Right, John. I hadn't thought about that, but you're right.
But I bet you now, at
That
least they're
maybe it
putting
would help.
at least now Charles putting the metal detector pointer on each sausage casing to see if there's any kind of metal in there.
Right.
They didn't even do that before. I don't remember sausage casings. I call it sausage casings. You know how they put the core in.
Right. Yes.
So I bet you now they're looking. And I bet you now Dr. Spooner put his water tester in this new hole that came up with gases and water. And let's see the concentration of gold and silver in that hole, Judy.
Right, for sure, John. We have not seen Dr. Spooner much in the last few episodes.
Right, but I'm saying if this thing is so direct and so concentrated, and they think this is the hot spot, okay, Dr. Spooner, put your magic to work, write down this hole, and if it shows triple the amount or quadruple the amount of gold in the material, triple the amount of silver in the water testing, then they know we got something. You know what I mean?
Right, yes. That would help.
Yep, Saturn. I don't remember them doing the pin test, the metal detecting on the sausage dirt. They look for wood. They look for if they're on the side of a shaft. They look if they're in the floor, horizontal wood. But you got to look for minerals in there too. Now, Jesus. So, like I said, I'll be on pre-show next Tuesday, which is going to be another season 9, episode 11, a boatload of clues. So we're going to be getting more boat elements. Let me get this off here. Yup, M&M, I believe you. I believe they know what they're chasing. They seem type of blokes that not make bad business decisions. Yeah, they didn't become millionaires for nothing. They know what they're doing. But this is a dream of theirs. They're living their dream. So how would you like to just live your dream and go for it? Just like I tell people at the end of my statement. Believe in your dreams. Go for it. Don't have any regrets. You tried, you looked, you did the best you can. Well, either you made it bingo or you finished the story for everybody else. All right,
You got
Judy.
it, John.
Why don't you say your goodbyes, Judy, and we'll get out of here.
All righty. Hey, everybody. Thanks for all the encouragement tonight. And have a good week, please. And most importantly, I want everybody to stay safe, please. And I'll see you next Wednesday night. Good night, John.
Okay, Judy, take care. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, you guys, I want to try this StreamYard giveaway, but I'm not sure how it works, so just hang on with me before we say our good nights. Let me see here. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see here. All right, everybody in the chat, type out mug test, all one word. Mug test. Write out mug test. I just want to see how the heck this works. Hold on. They're testing my ability here. You guys all put in? Gustavo, put in mug test. We'll see what happens here. This is too much technology for me. All right, here we go. Everybody put in mug test just to see. Everybody in? It won't do Facebook users. You have to be showing your name on StreamYard. You have to be showing your name on StreamYard. It will not take Facebook user if you don't let them use your profile, your picture, and your name to be on these contests. This is only a test. You know what I mean, guys? You have to be in the StreamYard profile. Let them use it. If you don't, if you're just a Facebook user, it will not pick you. All right, here we go. Here we go. We got 15 entries. Go. JMJM. How'd you like that? All right, let's do another one, another test. Same thing. Hold on, guys. You guys are all winners in my book. One more time. You guys seeing this all right? Let me see here. Got 16 entries. There you go, pirate. One more time. You guys are all winners here. You guys are all winners. Well, I think we'll do this too also to give away stuff out of the on a Saturday. There you go, Gustavo. Oh my lordy 40. All right, guys. You guys are all winners in my book. You guys are the best. Maybe I'll post it in my Facebook group who won for just being in my chat. Like I said, I'll be on Tuesday night between 7:15 and 7:30 pre-show. Me and Judy will be back on Wednesday at 7:30 next week. And we'll go from there. But remember, guys, remember, members, always go forward. You may get a setback, but just believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. Never give up. I never give up. You keep smiling. You be kind. For tomorrow was never a given, guys. Never. As the older we get. So stay strong. Stay positive. Stay safe with all this COVID craziness. Thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for joining me and Judy tonight. Her synopsis will be up on the groups shortly for you to read it. I'll see you Tuesday pre-show, 7:15, 7:30. Anything else comes up before that, watch my group for updates. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you. Take care. And bye-bye.